Welcome to the Mentor Podcast, where the most highly motivated entrepreneurs come to get their weekly dose of financial stability with host Ron LeGrand, as well as other nationally recognized thought leaders who will teach you how to get, grow, and protect your wealth.
Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Mentor Podcast. Ron LeGrand here, and I have with me today Patton, who is actually in charge of our virtual assistant department. We get a lot of questions about our VA department, so we thought this would be a good opportunity to clear all those up. And so, Pam, I'm going to ask you, here's what I'm going to ask you that I can think of. Number one, what are VAs? What do they do and what do they not do? What do they cost? How do we go about getting one set up? And then I'll be thinking of questions along the way by the time we get those answered. And so let's just dive in and anything I miss, you're going to help me with, right?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for having me on. I'm super excited to talk about our VA service. It is helpful for so many people, and I'm just going to dive in. What are VAs? They're virtual assistants who help with your real estate investment business. So they do everything. Most importantly is calling on your FSBO leads. So all of your for sale by owners that you get in, you can send to us and we will contact them. We will try to call them up to 3 times to get them on the phone. If we can't get somebody after 3 attempts, we will close out the lead. But if we can get somebody after 3 attempts, we will do our best to generate a property information sheet.
Okay, so now, Pam, these leads come not only through our Gold Club site, because some people listening to this are not Gold Club members yet. So, Gold Club members get these for sale by owner leads that are on the internet in the 2 counties that you pick. Every single day, they come into your inbox, and then they're trained to forward them to our VAs, and our VAs call them and fill out our property information sheet. However, if you send them the VA's leads that you generate offline or through other methods, of course, they call those as well. So the property information sheet is the first step of our entire business because it's where we collect the information on people who have a house for sale and have advertised as such, and are the people who call us. Sometimes people call our 24-hour answering service through things like ads and email and so forth. Mail and so forth, like our yellow letters. And of course, then they forward them to the VA, and the VA calls them as well. So the VAs provide a humongous, very important service by simply calling all of these sellers and chasing them down. And it's a onerous job. It takes a lot of time and effort to get a hold of these people.
It takes some thick skin in order to get through them. They deal with a lot of rejection, actually. And that is one of the valuable things that they do because, if you're just starting out in the investment business, you're going to have to be prepared to deal with a lot of no's before you can get that one yes. So that's one of the main things that our VAs are great at is dealing with all that rejection so that you can find that diamond in the rough. One of the other things that they like to do is source FSBOs as well. So just like you can get leads in from online services, your VA can take your criteria that you send in to us and look for properties that meet that criteria that are for sale by owner. So that's another thing that they can do.
So they go online, and you don't have to tell them what sites. They know what sites. And then they find the leads that are not part of our daily service, and they call them as well.
Absolutely.
Now, we must tell them now that you have to instruct them that you want them to do that, listeners, because they won't do it unless you tell them to do it. So let's come back for a moment. Frankly, the biggest problem is not whether the leads are yes or no, because you're going to call the yeses and the nos using my scripts and turn a lot of the nos into yeses. But the biggest problem is even getting them on the telephone. So what percentage of the people overall, no matter where the leads come from, if we add them all together, do we actually get on the phone after 3 tries?
We're getting about 40% currently on the phone. So that means about 60% of the people are either not picking up the phone or we have wrong phone number for them. Or we get a busy signal. So that's pretty shocking, quite frankly, how many people are posting ads that they have property for sale and they're not even bothering to pick up the phone.
You'd think they'd pick up the phone, wouldn't you? Okay,
Absolutely.
But they just don't. All right. Now, in class, we are training people to, if we can't get them by phone, to text them and tell them you're interested in buying their house. And a great percentage of those folks will now text you back. And of course, if they do that, that means you're going to have to fill out the property information sheet. But those are good leads when they text you back. So the biggest job that our VAs do is calling these leads for you folks, because if that doesn't get done, you don't need to worry about everything else we discussed, because you don't need a VA, and you're not even going to be in the pretty house terms business either. So Pam, what else do our VAs do besides calling the leads?
So they can run ads for you on sites like Craigslist or any local sites that you have. I believe you have about 3 scripts for the I Buy Houses ads, and as well as a few more scripts for the whenever they're ready to sell a house. So they'll take, take those ads and they'll post them on sites like Craigslist.
Okay, and we don't need to know what sites. They know what sites to put them on. And frankly, one of the best is Zillow. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you just need to tell them that you want to get the ads out there and keep them out there, and then the VAs do the rest, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, all right, go down that list. What else do they do?
So when it's time, say you've got your buying houses machine kind of running, they're calling FSBOs, they're sourcing, they're running the ads. Now you have a property and you're ready to sell it. So when it's time to sell a property, they can make an info page for you. So what I mean by an info page is that beautiful landing page that has the picture of the house, all of the features, it has that beautiful description of the home. So they can create that page for you. So you don't have to be a wizard with the computer. They're fully capable through our Dream software on making these info pages.
So in other words, all you've got to supply the VA is the photos and the copy for them to build the ad with, and they'll do all the hard work.
Yes,
right?
They'll take the ball and run with it. Now, in order to drive traffic to those info pages, they also need to run ads. So they can again run those ads that'll drive traffic to that landing page.
And they pretty much run the ads to sell on the same houses that they run the ads to buy, don't they?
Yeah, so very similar ads. So and then that info page is set up and it delivers the information directly whenever somebody fills out their web form into your CRM system, which is very important that it captures all that information, because then that information can then be pulled. You can pull reports for it. So whatever they capture in those info pages will go directly into your CRM system, because it's all connected.
Okay, well now, Pam, you're assuming that people know what a CRM system is.
That's your contact manager. So that is your list where all of the information is stored on the people that are interested in selling or buying. So every time we fill out a property information sheet and we get somebody that says, yes, I'm interested, their information goes into what we call our CRM system. And the same as when they fill out information on your website or on one of those landing pages, their details go in there.
Well, that CRM system is called Dreams. It's an optional thing that you can opt into. It's very inexpensive, but it also has your websites built into it, as well as the buyers list, where you want to put all the information we get from these people when they do call in, and build a tremendous buyers list. And the good thing is, though, that our VAs will do that for them, won't they?
Absolutely, they will. So you don't have to be a wizard. You can rely on your VAs to do all of this for you.
So they will totally manage the CRM system or the Dream system for the clients. All they got to be told is that they want them to do it. That's all.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay, so we talked about what. Is there anything else we need to put in the what the VAs will do?
So with your Dream system, you also have the ability to set up autoresponder series. So an autoresponder series is basically a group of emails that can be sent out to your list. So if you want your VA to set up any autoresponder series and trying to track specific types of people, say you're interested in tenant renters or mobile homes or wholesale buyers, they can pull together which already automatically in Dreams, pull together the autoresponder series and then set up those participants to go into those series for you.
For example, I talked to a seller, and the seller's not quite ready right now, but it's clear I need to follow up with them in, say, 30 days. I just make a memo right on my page where my property information sheet is at. And then I tell my VA to set up the autoresponders should probably be, I would imagine, generic, and so that the VA will set up an autoresponder to remind them that, hey, if you haven't sold yet, we're still here, and whatever you want it to say, and automatically deliver it to them so that you don't have to think about it. So you set it and forget it. Okay.
Set it and forget it through a series of flags.
All right. So that's all part of the dream system. Of course, we could talk for a couple hours on the dream system, but right now let's stick to the VAs. Pam, because you don't have to have the dream system, folks, to have a VA. Now, the one requirement that we do make you have is that you got to be in the Gold Club, which is only $59 a month. And you can get into that at ronsgoldclub.com. And frankly, if you're interested in real estate, kind of foolish not to, because it's the biggest bargain in real estate today. And that's where you get all these daily leads, for one thing, which in itself is worth 10 times more than you're paying for the whole Go Club. All of my forms and agreements are on there. There must be 200 hours worth of training on there. The store is on there. The forum is on there. I mean, it's just endless
checklists
content.
Checklists are on there.
Oh, I mean, just all of our resources. And plus you get a email e-zine every Friday with some articles in it and some lessons in it that I create constantly and put in it. And you even get actually you get something in the mail. We mail you a mentor newsletter about 10 times a year. Okay, so it's really
chock
incredible
full
bargain.
with CDs and it's wonderful. Yep.
So anyway, just got to be a part of the Gold Club. You can get out anytime you want. There's no long-term contract, and once you're in, even at that level, you are eligible for a VA. Now there's a setup fee for virtual assistants. You want to talk about that?
Yes, so there's a one-time setup fee. It's $500 to be a part of our service, and then you have the ability to purchase hours. So once you're a part of that Gold Club membership and you've paid your setup fee, you buy time in 5 or 10-hour blocks. So 5 hours is $105, or for 10 hours we give you a little bit of a break. It's $200.
Okay. Now, when we say hours, though, we're not paying for hours, we're paying for minutes because you get charged by the minute, which is electronically monitored regardless of what our VA is doing. So honestly, to pay $21 an hour for a live human doing all this work for you is about like paying an employee $7 an hour because you're literally getting 60 minutes worth of work for the 60 minutes that you're paying for, which you will not get out of any employee that I've ever met. So the important part is, though, that's not really what it costs. It's that you're not getting one VA, you're getting a whole team of them. So, Pam, you got different VAs doing different things.
Absolutely. So I'm not going to give you just one VA for that. You're going to get a team of VAs. You're going to have contact with one specific person who is going to be kind of your team lead, your VA team lead, who will help ensure that your calls are being made. So I have different VAs that are responsible for calling and filling out the property information sheets versus a team of leads that are sourcing FSBOs versus a different set of VAs that are going to run ads for you. So the reason that I have it set up this way is because if I had the ability to pick and choose and I was a VA, all I would do is source FSBOs because that's the easiest thing. I would never pick up the phone and call.
Yeah, correct.
Because that's the hardest part, actually. So I have it separated that way for a reason.
And it takes a lot of training and monitoring to make these people do this. Last time I checked with you do about 25,000 of these things a month for our clients. So
yes, it's a lot of calling.
That's a lot of calling.
It's a lot of dials in order to make this happen for you guys.
So when I buy the service, I get a whole team of people and each doing what they're best at. And I guess equally important, when one of them goes away, there's another one to jump right in place. So I don't have to have a big lag time, so I go find me a VA and train them and get them. And
Absolutely. Then, of course, you're not responsible for training them. We'll train them. We'll make sure that they're up to speed, that they're aware of all of our policies and procedures, and that they're basically experts at the time that they start sitting in and start making phone calls or sourcing or placing ads.
And we might want to mention that everything they do is recorded. So
it is.
we can go back and listen to their calls.
And monitored, and it's monitored all the time. And we are constantly conducting additional training. If we feel like somebody has lagged on one of our elements, we will go in and conduct a little coaching session for them, and then they're back up to speed.
Okay. And if there's an issue, you just contact your VA, and if the VA doesn't fix it, then they can contact you directly. So
Absolutely.
when they get a VA, they get the VA's phone number and the email address. And do they always also get yours as well?
They do. They can
Okay.
contact me directly at any point.
So they get your cell phone number so they can call you at 2 a.m. too, right?
I'll get back as soon as I can.
Not right. Okay, all right. So now I forgot what I was going to ask you. What if I wanted to go on vacation and put everything on hold for a month?
You can do that. So you purchase time as you need it. So if you're not wanting to do any calls, you can tell them, hey, stop making calls for this amount of time, or stop running my ads. It's all at will. So you tell them what you want to happen, and that's when things will take place.
Okay. All right. Now, Pam, for those listeners that understand what I'm talking about here, on the property information sheet, we're asking the customer directly if they will either sell the house for what they owe when applicable, or would you consider taking a monthly payment until we can pay you off in full when not applicable. So our goal is to try to get a yes to one of those questions as often as we can, so that the client already knows that the FSBO owner has expressed interest in talking about terms. So when they get a yes to one of those questions, that's what we call a yes lead. So I know that the percentage of yes leads fluctuates from month to month. So give me, since you keep copious records on this, from a low to a high, because it changes month to month for some weird reason. From a low to high, what percentage would we expect to get yeses?
Of all your property information sheets, I would expect it to range between 16% yes all the way up to, we've seen 33% yes at times. So that's where your range would be. But in order to generate one yes lead, I would expect us to at least call about 20 to 25 properties in order to generate one yes lead.
Of which, if you're not going to get even half of them on a telephone, so
correct.
So your percentages are based on the number of people you get on the phone, not the number of people that they send to you. Because if you can't get them on the phone, we can't put them into our calculations, right? Okay, correct. So all right, now let me jump in there, because guys, if you're listening, frankly, the number of yes leads you get is really not all that relevant anyway. Because if I train you, you're going to be trained to call the no's as well. I have a script called the no script, which tells the seller why they might want to consider listening to me tell them why they might want to consider taking a monthly payment. And I can tell you, in our classes right now, we're converting about 20 to 30% of those no's to yeses. So, okay, we call the yeses, and we convert some percentage of those to appointments, but those no's are not dead wood. There's a lot of yeses within those no's. In fact, when you think about it, you're a seller and somebody calls you and asks if you'd take a monthly payment, their initial reaction is no. Sometimes they don't know what we're talking about. So when we call them back and read my script to them, now we get a chance to explain to them why it's in their best interest to consider taking the monthly payment, and tell them things like, we're giving you your full price, and we're paying closing costs, and we're closed when you're ready. And we take it as is, and and it's really just an all cash delayed sale. So when you hear things like that, sometimes they change their mind. So we're going to get you as many yeses as we can. And of course, I'd call the yeses first, but you got to call the no's, and you got to get good at reading my no script and converting a lot of those. So honestly, this yes versus no thing is just really not all that important if you're doing what I ask you to do, and call all of them. All right, so.
And I would also, just to note, pay particular attention to the notes section, because that can help you build some rapport with the seller. A lot of times there's details that are in there that'll give you clues as to the personality of the seller, as to anything that can make you build instant rapport with them and get a connection.
Notes like this person was a pleasure to talk to, or this person was a real grouch down at the bottom. You probably should tell your people not to put that. That'd scare them away from calling them. Maybe they were just in a bad mood. All right.
Yeah.
So you also can also confirm that if I go out and generate leads on my own, like, for example, if I run ads and get people to call me, or if I mail letters or whatever and get people to call me, then my contact ratio is a lot higher on those kind of leads than it is the leads that are generated online, correct?
100%. Anytime that you get an offline source, you're going to have a much higher contact ratio. That would be a yard sign, a yellow letter campaign, any ads that you're doing, personal ads. So I feel like those are much better contacts versus things that are just scraped off of the internet. So definitely.
Not only do they have a better contact ratio, like double, like about 80%, but they also have a better conversion ratio because they're better quality prospects.
Absolutely.
And, so anything you can do to get sellers to call you is going to be a lot higher prospect than the ones we find off a line. Now, even after saying that, every time we go do a class, either a one-day seminar or a 4-day boot camp, and people bring leads, golly, it's amazing how many deals we turn up from just the leads that come right across the Gold Club site. And of course, most of the leads come right off the Gold Club site. Our VAs called them and did all the work for them, and that's why they bring them, so they don't have to go out and do any of the work to go get the rest. The good leads coming in, but even the low quality leads, I'm telling you, there's some really, really great deals that are generated from
gems out there for sure. Absolutely.
So the key is not in generating leads. We can get you an awful lot of leads. The key is in the follow-up, and that is where your dream system is going to come in very, very handy, because it's going to make it easy for you not to forget anything. You just set it and forget it, and it'll tell you when to call whom, and it'll do autoresponders to get them calling you. So very important that you try to get your business systemized. And of course, the first step is to hire VAs to get all of this grunt work out of the way. Now, a lot of people are going to be tempted to call their own sellers and fill out their own property information sheets. And frankly, I'm okay with that for maybe a week. And then you'll realize how badly you need VAs, because
you'll get tired after a week. It is a numbers game. You know, the more you dial, the better your chances are at getting somebody on the phone who's willing to do terms with you.
Not only will you get tired of doing that grunt work that you really shouldn't be doing, but frankly, talking to people that you're not going to do business with over and over and over again can't help but demotivate you, and pretty soon you'll convince yourself there's no deals here. If you'll follow the system and let our VAs do the front-end screening for you, and then you only talk to the people after we got the information on them, you'll find that you'll spend a lot less time doing it, and it won't demotivate you. Plus, when you're taking calls yourself or making these calls, first of all, if you're taking them yourself, you're never, ever going to be ready to take them. You're never in the mood to take them. You're never prepared to take them. You probably don't even have the property information sheet in front of you. Or worse yet, you're driving down the highway. So let the systems work. We drive inbound calls to Pat Live. They take calls 24 hours a day. Then they forward a little bit of information to you, and then you forward it directly to your VA if you want the VA to call them. And then the VA will either put it on your dream system if you set up with the dreams, or they'll send it to you if you're not. So very, very simple system, but very critical system, because if you don't follow the system, you're going to wind up doing a lot of work for nothing, and probably wind up doing nothing because of the amount of front-end work that's involved, which is why this VA floor exists to begin with. We created this thing to get this work off of your back. So let the system work for you. I think, Pam, you will probably acknowledge, really, it's just a big daycare center you run over there. It's just adult children, about the size of it.
Yeah, it's just keeping everybody in line and making sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So
right.
You've got the system running, and we're just making sure it's all running smoothly.
All right. So how many VAs do we have right now as of this call?
We have 26 currently. 26.
Wow, that's 26 people doing your work for you, folks. Now, Pam, we're going to discuss when should I get a VA? Because honestly, matter of fact, let me handle that because I know the answer. All right.
Okay.
Look, a VA is only as good as getting the work done for you, but that work does not mean they're going to call a seller and make the deal for you. So you're ready to use a VA when you're ready to go to work and actually get going in the business. Because I'll be the first to tell you, you don't need a VA to generate leads for you if you're not going to do anything with them when you get them. Because leads sitting on your desk are not going to make you a dime. So if you're trained enough to make that call, that closing call using my scripts and get a few appointments a month, then you're certainly ready to get a VA on your team. But let's face it, if you're not going to do that, then I can't think of why you even want a VA. On the other hand, if you are ready to go to work, I can't think of a reason why you would not want a VA, because they're so critical. Because remember, if the VA doesn't call the leads for you, if they don't chase all those people and collect all that information, that only leaves you. And if you're in charge of doing all that work, I got a good idea that you won't be doing it very long before you'll find something else that you think you need to do with that same amount of time. And make note, step number 1 of the 5 steps to success is generating leads. In other words, finding prospects, locating prospects. And if you don't do that first step, all the rest of it is totally irrelevant. And that applies to any business. So we've done all that for you. It has never been easier to get leads than it is right now, because frankly, most of our clients let our VAs do almost all the work for them. So Pam, what have I missed that I should be asking you?
Well, there are 3 different levels of service. So I just want to point out, we talked about the $59 a month service. That's our basic Gold Club membership. There's 2 other levels. We have the Gold Elite membership. That's $297 a month. That comes with all of the Dream System. It comes with all of the automation, all of the web tools, your website, your property pipeline that will manage all of your current deals in one place, all of our marketing tools, all of the reporting and tracking tools, your contact manager, your action center with your to-do list, the message board to house and organize all your important messages. So it comes with all of this for $297 a month. And the buyers, absolutely.
And it's got an analysis program built into it. It's got ComSol built into it. So in other words, it's an all-inclusive system to really much run your business for you. And one, I could say that it could easily replace an employee.
Absolutely, easily.
Yeah.
And experts that know how to navigate the system. So, and again, you would purchase your time in 5 and 10 hour increments at that level. Then we also have the Gold Elite VA level, which is our best deal. That's $697 a month, and it includes 25 hours of VA time. So everything that we previously discussed, plus 25 hours a month of VA time to help manage all of this.
So what I always tell people, Pam, is that, look, if you're ready to go to work, do business, go get the $297 level. Buy 5 or 10 hours of VA service on top of that as you need it. And then when you get to the point that where you're using 25 hours a month, then just upgrade to the $697 and save yourself $125 a month. And then if you want to slow down, you can always downgrade back to the $297. And honestly, you can all go all the way down to the $59 level if you want. You don't ever want to be out of the $59 level, because there's your source of leads, and there's all this cool stuff that we send you constantly. But if you're not going to work this month, then okay, you may not need the $697 level this month. So there's flexibility built in there for you. And by the way, Pam, let's say I buy 5 hours and I need more time than 5 hours, but I'm not ready for 10 hours. Do I get billed for overtime?
No. So as soon as your 5 hours is done, then we kind of stop work until you're ready for us to continue. So you tell us, and you're the one that's in charge of telling us what to do, and you're purchasing the hours. Now, our VA will say, hey, it looks like you're getting close to using up your time. Are you ready to purchase more time? Just to kind of give you a little heads up. But you always are aware of what's happening in your account, because you have complete visibility of what's going on through our Dream System.
So I'm not going to get any big overage bills without even knowing I had overage, huh?
Correct.
All right. So Pam, where do I go to get more information on all 3 levels and the Dream System for that matter?
Well, right now you can go to www.thementorpodcast.com/RonsVA. There's no apostrophe, so RONSVA.
Okay. So if I go there, I can get it. And by the way, is there a phone number there as well? Because, guys, you can't get a VA without talking to a human in our office, because we want to be very clear on what you want us to do and what you don't want us to do.
Yeah.
And,
so you can call our 800 service. So it's 1-888-840-8389, and we'll get you signed up as well.
Okay, 888-840-8389. All right?
Yes.
Okay, anything else you want to tell our folks that you think of right now?
No, I think we pretty much covered everything that I had on my list. But again, if you feel like you've got questions for us, let us know. I'm happy to answer them for you. I'm here.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, some wise guy once told me the less I do, the more I make. And this is your opportunity to jump right in there and start that practice. Because I'm going to tell you, you're never going to get real wealthy if you're doing all the work yourself, and you're never going to enjoy your business if you can't get out of the way and let other people do most of it. I still buy a few houses a month, and I promise you I don't spend 2 or 3 hours a month at it. You've heard many of my students tell you how well they're doing. All my people who generate over $1 million a year will tell you they spend very little time in their business, and it's because they've allowed to let systemization, like we've just discussed, take over for them. And of course, your VA is your first part of it, but then there's other places like Pat Live to take your calls. And honestly, just about anything you need to be done can be hired out for a very small amount of money. And we spent years putting all these pieces together for you. So all you got to do is go home, generate leads, make calls, make visits, get contracts, put a house on the market, sell them, and get big checks. And honestly, that's not very far from the absolute reality of it. So if you let the system work and not try to circumvent it and not try to save a few pennies, it will do a very good job for you. So we've done our best we can do, Pam. We bring them the bear. They got to skin it now. So guys, if you're ready for a VA, go to thementorpodcast.com/Ron's VA, get started, and hopefully I'll see you at a live event very soon. Well, thank you, Pam.
Thank you, Ron.
And thank all of you for listening, and we'll see you on the next Mentor Podcast.
That's all for this edition of the Mentor Podcast. To connect with Ron and learn how you can attain financial freedom, as well as up-to-date strategies to grow and protect your wealth based on today's discussion, go to www.connectwiththementor.com.